Okay, so Nick and Dean shared a lot about the technologies underlying JupNet, but what does that mean? I'm going to try to put it all together to show something more practical. So my topic for today is about building an Omnichain Ledger that ultimately unifies liquidity across multiple blockchains. Before I start, I just want to share the current state. I just want to paint a picture of what it's like to use multiple blockchains. For those of you who are new, Solana might be your first chain, and that's great. Solana is a great blockchain, great user experience. For those of you who have been around longer, you would have used multiple different blockchains. Ethereum, the multitude of sidechains, L2s, I can't even keep up, right? You have Cosmos, maybe Terra, haha, no. But yes, my point is, you know the pain of having tokens on multiple chains. You need to juggle so many different wallets, and if you want to bridge tokens from one chain to another chain, it's a rather cumbersome process. It can be slow, it can be expensive, and it is definitely intimidating for new users. So we want to solve that. We at Jupiter, we believe that the future is a million chains, and a lot of people using it. The current solution we have, not so great. I think the closest omni-chain experience that we have today that is good is centralized exchanges. So let's take a look at how centralized exchanges work, at least their ledger. So they would have their wallets across many different chains. So say, let's take Binance as an example. Binance would have a Binance wallet on Ethereum, on Base, on Sui, and so on and so forth. So as a user, when you deposit to your Binance deposit address, your tokens ultimately get swept into, say, Binance's Ethereum wallet, a wallet that they control. The next thing that they do is they would perform, a database insert operation to update the ledger. So now Binance knows, okay, this user has X amount of token with them. This system, honestly, is great, right? It works. It's fast. People love it. That's why we have so many people still using centralized exchanges. At least one of the reasons. But how can we take this design and make it better? How can we make it decentralized? And how can we make it permissionless? Have a look at JupNet's ledger. Very similar. There is a JupNet ledger on the JupNet chain. On top of that, this JupNet ledger is secure by Duff. So earlier on, Nick talked a lot about Duff, what it can do. Just to recap, Duff has the capability to verify transactions, not just on JupNet, but verify transactions happening on any blockchain in the world. So likewise, we have our vault. So when a user deposits, tokens get swept to the vault. Each Duff would individually verify this transaction, and as soon as they agree, they would write to JupNet. So this is the flow with deposits. First, deposits are detected by the Duff network. Each of them individually verify these transactions happening on whatever chain it is. When they come to consensus, it gets written to the ledger. Now, this is all good, right? It's a nice diagram, but for the past few months, we have worked really hard. And for that, I want to introduce Zach. Zach is an engineer who has worked day and night and every weekend for a very long time. He's going to show you how it all works, both from a UI perspective and from a Duff's perspective. Do you need this?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
All right. The video.
I think
yes.
the previous one first, right?
The previous slide, sorry.
Yeah.
Cannot. All right. So, sorry, technical difficulties here.
Should we crack some joke and can you guys fix it?
Not sure.
It's okay. Well, let's
move on to the actual practical. So, in JupNet, once you are actually in JupNet, you actually create something called a deposit address. So same like any CEX, you get your own unique deposit address. I think once we have our deposit address, can you show the slides? Right. So once you actually get your deposit address, you can just send any amount. So here I'm sending 1 USDC. So once that is sent, the DAF will then pick up this transaction, validate it, and come to a consensus to mint the corresponding amount for the user. So give it a while. Apologies. So here is the transaction that I just did, and it has been picked up by DAF and validated. So here are the DAF that actually validated the transaction on the external chain. So we have currently 3 validators running. 3 DAF running. One is in Tokyo, one is in London, and the other is in Ohio. So once they have validated, they will actually mint out the corresponding amount for the users. Now I'd like to pass back time to Josh to actually continue with what other features JupNet has.
Wow, thanks, Zach. Now, obviously, the demonstration would have been a lot better if you could see the actual video, but it's fine. Oh, it's up? I can't seem to click back. How do you play a video? Okay. Yeah, so this is actually the UI for GUM. It's not yet live, but you can see it working. So you can see you have your unique deposit address. You send 1 USD from Solana to this Solana deposit address. You can see that JupNet DAF has picked up the deposit, and right now is being credited. So that's basically the deposit flow completed. All right, thank you guys. Now, we can't talk about deposits without talking about withdrawal. Obviously, if you deposit your funds, you want your funds back eventually, right? So with withdrawals is slightly different. One was incoming. The next thing is outgoing. So how it works is a user would submit their withdrawal intent. This intent is submitted to the DAF network. Again, each DAF would perform verifications to make sure that you have sufficient funds. And if they all agree, they come into consensus, then they would submit a withdrawal transaction with a BLS aggregated signature to the external chain's LP program. This LP program will then basically release the funds to the user. So that's how withdrawal works. So what does that all mean? Putting it all together. An Omnichain Ledger allows us to aggregate liquidity in a single place. It enables developers to build new cool protocols that were never, ever possible before. For example, it could be a bunch of different LSTs, right? It could be SOL, it could be ETH LSTs, some kind of protocol that uses these things. On top of that, it also allows users to buy any tokens from any chain as soon as TGE happens. That is incredibly exciting. I just want to give one quick example. So Trump token was huge, right? But if you only had USDC on Base but not on Solana, you would have to bridge the tokens over first. And by then, Trump token prices would have skyrocketed. But with JupNet, you no longer have to wait. You can buy anything, anytime, as soon as it's tradable on any chain. Okay, before I end, I just want to give a quick teaser of what's to come. Can we play the video? So this is a demonstration of trades happening. So I deposited to Solana. Now I want to buy cake. I'm going to buy $10 of cake. I click buy. I confirm the transaction. Just focus down here. Bought $10 worth of cake. So with that, thank you very much.
So one thing that I have to give Josh a lot of credit for, right, is that I think he like a few months ago, we started this project, right? He really wanted to have a stack UX, right? Whereby, whereby you have a unique deposit address, right? From anywhere, right? So that you can just deposit into and it gets credited to the stacks, right? See what I'm saying? And then I'm telling you, man, it's like, at first I'm like, bro, this is so complicated, man, forget it. Then it's like, no, I won't do it. It's great, because it's actually really great now. You can see, I think one of the key things really happens that you create an account on JupNet, right? Then by default, we create a deposit address on every chain for you, right? So you can just directly deposit, there's a unique address, unique to your account on JupNet, right? So you just directly deposit it, and bang, you get, it's like a stacks, even better, because it's completely centralized, right? So I think what Josh demonstrated is kind of what I want to do, right? We kind of want to create a system whereby we really get to the point whereby a transaction that is like on JupNet, it works exactly, right? Laterally on stacks, or even better, So it's a goal, right?
That is a goal.
All right, thank you, bro.
All right.
Thank you. All right, thank you. See you. Cool.